Welcome to Impact, ladies and gentlemen. I think I take the line from the great George Decay, who is Sulu from Star Trek, that says, "Oh my, what the fuck?" That's the best word to say. Oh my, I don't know. Oh my gosh, this is bad. Oh my gosh, this is good. Oh my gosh, this is I don't know what to call it. I understand it was a live event on Pop. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see it. So, I didn't really see how their interaction with the crowd was, unfortunately. But watching the show, the crowd was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. But when you see this show, most of the show kind of didn't make that much sense. The beginning had some form, but the ending of the show was a huge mess. That I don't know if it was so bad it was good. But here's my point of view. Opening up the show, Jeff Hardy returns and faces Eli. Now, before that, we got Dixie Carter dealing with Eli. I kind of wish they had made it brighter in that segment because it was too dark. I think they should have had a little bit more better lighting. I understand you want to make sure that this is like the gorilla position for Gorilla Monsoon, but sometimes if you're going to do a segment that important, that you want to emphasize that Eli is supposedly someone important, you should give him more light so it can be seen. And that just looked bad. The match began to a certain extent, and then Dixie comes out and botches a little bit. And she says, you know what? Whoever has this win gets to be in the title match at the end of the show. Now the crowd liked it, and I say, well, that means they're going to throw Jeff and Matt right now. That's what the deal is. Jeff and Matt are going to have the option. So, Jeff wins. I wasn't too surprised about that. I didn't think Eli was going to win. Now, let's get the Jeff and Matt segment over. I didn't really... How can I say this without sounding like I'm hypocritical? Because I have said this before and I'll say it again and I'm going to keep saying it. When it comes to Matt Hardy, he's not a bad talker. He's a good talker, average. He's a good in-ring worker, average. He will be a good transitional champion, which he was. We already know the ending of the show, so I don't need to tell you any more than that. He's always been a good wrestler. He's been good in character. He's been good in talking. I never said he was great. But when you see Jeff compared to Matt, Jeff is a far superior charismatic person. He always has been. He always will be. The crowd loves him more. The only thing I cared about was looking at Ribby's boobs while he talked. As he was talking, I did listen to what he said, trying to sell the fact. And I gotta say this, that Ribby finally held her son properly. Because the last time, as you saw how I felt the last time this happened, I didn't like her. She let her son's neck get jacked back like he's about to lose his head off his shoulders. So, the beginning of the show and parts of the show, whenever we saw Ribby with the baby, I'm alright with that because she held her son properly. And seeing that Jeff held his nephew and kissed his nephew on the head was alright with me. I was fine with it. But seeing Matt's segment compared to Jeff, I really didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but I did listen to it. And he was trying to get his brother to just bow out, and he would give him a give him a 2018 shot at his title. I'm not saying that was great, but it was typical of a heel. I did expect they were going to be at odds, and I was right. Jeff gave Matt a twist of fate, and that seals the deal for the rest of the night. Now, that segment was put together decently well, like the beginning of the show to a certain extent. So I wasn't having a problem with it. But for the rest of the show, it made a lot of little sense. The Wolves, I understand that Davey Richards is hurt. Fine, there's no problem. They got to do something with Eddie Edwards. But then you have... when it comes to Decay, I see Rosemary. She's an understandable character kind of think that Rosemary and Crazy Steve are kind of together in real life the way they're acting, because they seem to be carrying a little bit closer than just joking around or just going by character. You guys tell me if they're actually kind of together. I could be wrong, but you tell me. But seeing that Decay is going after Eddie Edwards because of what? They don't have the titles now. So either this is just, well, we got to do something. Originally Decay was going to go after the Wolves, so they're going to be doing this. But then you throw beer money into it. The world champions, to try and compensate that Davey Richards is not there either because he actually got hurt or he's taking care of Angelina Love or a little bit of both. It just doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. It would have been better that Eddie Edwards just basically had a short program with them. They beat him in a 2-on-3 or a 3-on-1 handicap match. And then eventually the Wolves come to rescue him because he's getting really badly beaten down. We didn't get that. We got a segment after he got beat up. And that didn't make much sense. Then it comes to the match when you have Rosemary in it. And the problem I had was that they didn't interact Rosemary enough. Now I know she's a woman. But if you're going to do a mixed tag in that respect, you should at least let Rosemary be in the match more than just a few seconds and she never got tagged. I really would like to see it like that. It's not like women can't wrestle men. Come on. It's been done. And she looks like she could probably wrestle a bit and do some very nasty heelish things as Rosemary. But in the end, the one thing that worried me, and it wasn't that, I'm wondering what happened to James Storm. When he jumped off that rope once Bobby Roode slingshot him, and he landed onto the floor, he looked like he might have hurt his his right knee. He landed badly. I'm hoping it's fine. But Decay, I didn't care about them winning. Fine. But if James Storm, who just came back from NXT less than a couple of months ago, is now hurt on TNA, that just plain sucks. I'm just saying. Now, when it comes to Mike Bennett and Maria, and Gail, Kim, and Drew, I didn't understand why we had this segment. Really, I didn't. Why did you combine it? Now, I would have liked to see another match between Drew and Mike Bennett, and a match finally between Gail, Kim, and Maria. It would have made more sense to me. To you guys, maybe it might have not, but to me, it should have been done. And in the end, it was Mike Bennett and Maria who won, but I felt like they kind of got the short end of the stick because it really didn't make much sense. And what the hell? Eat defeat on Mike Bennett. If Gail Kim can do that, why couldn't we have that with Rosemary? Why? Now, we didn't see any other knockouts for the rest of the night. But I am going to say this. Two things. Josh Matthews and the Pope. I've always liked the dynamic. But then seeing them finally at ringside. I know it's been done for a while now, but I've never really said I've been truly happy seeing them at ringside. And when it came to Lashley, it kind of made sense why they were there. I'm glad they were there, and I'm glad that Josh Matthews had that segment. To be honest, right now, I'd rather look at a Josh Matthews segment than a Michael Cole segment. Because we have seen Michael Cole for so many years do this crap. I'm tired of him. He's not a bad talent when it comes to a commentator. If he didn't just constantly botch, the man needs to take a break. Get away from wrestling for a while. Take up a freaking vacation. When was the last time you saw Michael Cole gone from television? A week? Maybe 2? The man needs to be gone for a couple of months so people would care about him again. The man gets on my freaking nerves. And if I don't put an image to stick on there to show how much I... motherfucker! Get the hell off TV! If I don't do that, that didn't make any sense. But I probably will stick a Michael Cole image right there. Just as a reference of how tired I am of him. And it felt refreshing to see an interview from a Josh Matthews. Seeing him get thrown around by Lashley when he actually did a decent segment. Was it great? No. but it was decent. We know Lashley isn't great. He's not a great talker. He just isn't. He doesn't have that kind of charisma. But at least in this segment, it was effective. Threw around a Michael Cole. Then he threw around a Pope. D'Angelo Dinero. D'Angelo Dinero came into the ring, took off his glasses, and said, no. No. Then he got his ass handed to him. I'm hoping that the Pope is coming back because I do like the Pope on commentary. But I won't say Josh Matthews and Jeremy Borash is bad. JB's always been a great commentator. They may say that the Pope is gone because he got hurt for a little while. And JB's going to be there for a while, which I wouldn't be having a problem with. I like JB and I like the Pope. Just don't stick... you know who I'm talking about. Mike Tenay. Don't stick him back there. Just give me one of those and I'll be fine. Oh, now here's the thing that made no freaking sense. That I wish had never happened. Guido. Still holding on to that box. That Feast and Fire briefcase. I'm saying the box. Because I hate this. I hate this segment. I hate what happened. It makes no sense. I understand there are people who like Guido. But let's be honest here. They didn't package him well. In this stupid storyline, he didn't even come into the ring in his regular freaking clothes. He got freaking fired in January. And he keeps coming in there in the dead of winter. Still, even though most of the country is warm, coming in his freaking ring attire, which made no damn sense. At least Eli Drake, the master of the universe, knows how to do it. But why? Why do this? Billy, why? Why did you do this, Billy? Why did they come up with this stupid plan to get Guido over by having a match where he's got to grab the paperwork to get him back his job? I got to smack myself to make sure I'm awake because this is a freaking nightmare. I'm not fond of Guido. He's not a freaking Rockstar Spud. He doesn't come near Rockstar Spud. He's actually boring. I'm sorry. He's not a great wrestler. Am I going to say he did a bad job in the match? No. But he's not a great wrestler. He's not a great talker. Drew is way better than him. Rockstar Spud is way better than him. Hell, Mandrews was better than him in talking whenever he talked. It's made no sense why he's here. Because they believe they need comic relief because Eric Young is no longer acting like the silly person. It doesn't work for me. But let's move on to the final thing in the night. If I forgot anything, I'm sorry. But this is about the three-way dance between Hardys and EC3. I didn't expect this. This ending was so... It was like they were stuffing a 10-pound turkey into a 2-pound bag. They tried to squeeze everything in. They threw the kitchen sink at this to surprise us, to swerve us. And they did. What did we get? We got Mike Bennett. We got Eli and Bram. We got Tyrus and Spud. Then we got Bennett knocking down and beating up on EC3. He was the one who got the most abuse, so he got the most over. But he wasn't one who was going to win the title. It was Drew McIntyre. Ergo, Drew Galloway. I know people are going to say, why do you keep saying Drew McIntyre? Because he was literally the chosen one for this. That's what it comes down to. And going back to what I said in the beginning of the show, of this review, oh my, what the fuck did I just witness? TNA decided to go with Drew Galloway as their top guy. Not EC3 at the moment, not Bobby Lashley, not Eli Drake, not Jeff Hardy, and not Matt Hardy. They decided to go with Drew Galloway at this moment. I don't know if he's going to hold the title long. Hopefully he will. A lot of people like Drew. I like Drew. So it's a good thing they did this. This is totally different than what we would get from WWE. They're not throwing the kitchen sink like TNA just did. They tried to swerve us, and they did. Was it a great swerve? I felt it was a little clusterfucked. It was very messy, that swerve. But it was still a swerve. And we all thought that Matt was going to keep the title. We thought maybe EC3 was going to get the title. But who came out? It was Drew Galloway, who now has the title, who is now the title holder for TNA. And going forward, he is the one that is the benchmark. I don't know if he can handle it, but it doesn't mean he can't. And this is something that we've been wanting from wrestling. We wanted a swerve, something different, something fresh. We now have Drew Galloway as our champion. Compared to what's going to happen in WWE at WrestleMania 32, where basically we got Triple H going against Roman Reigns, and nobody wants to deal with Roman Reigns. Everyone hates Roman Reigns, and it's not because he doesn't have ability, it's because he's been packaged like garbage. In this respect, even though you know TNA isn't as high level production, and that's kind of stretching with WWE lately, they don't have the same production money. They don't have the same amount of time. They don't have the amount of shows. They got Impact and they got Explosion, which I usually never watch. But still, I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Drew Galloway. Will this be great? I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this show. A lot was thrown in this show to try and really drum up interest and pop. Hopefully, we will have something good here. I don't really know. But you guys tell me below. And I hope you enjoyed the Zane review. Please give me a comment below. My Mark Henry review, well, my Mark Henry booking, The Wrestler, will be out just after this. I'm actually going to edit it today. Won't have the images like I usually do for Raw and TNA. That I leave blank. But you will be seeing it soon, and I will be getting my next Booking the Wrestler out. And I'm going to be doing Kofi Kingston. I'm saying it now. You guys have a good day and have a good night. Peace!